$50 taken off, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's enough out of you, Hush. Whatever you say.
Did you ever find your lawn seed yesterday?
I'll get it taken care of just for you.
Good, good. Kind of embarrassment in the neighborhood.
Don't
Okay.
even start.
It's 6 o'clock.
Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody to our Monday, May 12th, 2025 Cascade City Council meeting. We'll have a call to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Oliphant. Here. Weber.
Here.
Hush.
Here.
Gale.
Here.
Delaney.
Here. Need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Gale,
Second.
second by Hush. All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, we'll have public comment, limit of 3 minutes per person. Agenda items or local government issues, seeing none. We'll go to the consent agenda. City Council minutes, 4/28/25. Park Board minutes, 5/5/25. Library Board minutes, 5/6/25. Liquor license renewal by Loney LLC doing business as the Bent Rim. Visa invoice, various departments, $2,755.35. May 12, 2025 claims, April financial reports. Any questions on the consent agenda?
I've got a couple of them on the claims. Premier window, $880. Spring clean, or spring 25. Window cleaning, library. Is that going to be a biannual or a?
Yes, that's what we had planned, a biannual cleaning of the windows.
Okay, I was wondering if there would be a less expensive option, perhaps. I know I was at a person's place last spring, and they make those deals, you hook up to a garden hose, and I see there's water readily available.
Okay.
And that person was having very good luck with it, so at that point, it'd be the exterior would be at least done, and maybe some can be worked out. But it seems like a lot. That'd almost be $1,800 a year if we do it twice a year.
I can discuss it with Melissa and the board.
You know,
Who did it this time?
Premier.
Yeah.
Premier did, okay.
Mhm.
There's another group in town that comes down.
And
Who's
that's
that?
who normally does,
That's
who
what I thought.
normally does the windows. Whoever does all the, like the ones at the bank
Yeah.
and whoever that person is.
Maybe we should check into seeing what that would look like too.
And maybe they just weren't available.
I thought that was.
Isn't that what
if
it
I
is?
can find the invoice here.
I can't think of their name.
I know, I'm blanking myself on it.
Yeah. It's a guy and his daughter?
I think that's the same one.
Premier
'cause
window?
that's like, so
Well, it
like.
sounds like Bill's
Yeah,
Yeah,
volunteering
that's
to do it.
Premier.
Huh?
Bill's volunteering to do it.
Since he knows so much
Here it
about
is.
it.
Yeah.
I'll hold the line
Who
for
it
you.
is.
It's the same one that does a lot of the local
That-
businesses here
yeah.
in town. It's the gentleman and his daughter that walk around. It's the same one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we can absolutely look at some, an alternative company maybe.
Yeah,
Any-
just, I mean, yes, see if what prices look like. I mean, it seems to work out for a lot of the businesses up there on the main
Yeah.
drag, so I mean, yeah, check that out.
Any
Especially if
other-
they're a local little business here.
Any other questions?
I was just wondering on the young painting, the vinyl wall covering for a silo, was that just, that's about $2,400?
I know we're getting some for in the interior of the silo for sure, because we've already had little kids like
pick at it?
Pick, oh yeah, and make marks
To
on
see
the
if it's
wall.
real?
Yeah, I don't know, but, for sure, we're at least doing that much.
So,
Just-
yeah, and then the inside there, maybe picking a different color that's not white in there. And then they were gonna start doing, I talked to her, Melissa, I said, the camera system's there too. I said, if you guys do kind of have her doing a walkthrough, maybe at the beginning of the day, end of the day, just kind of get an idea if
Mm-hmm.
something new has happened in there or something like that, we should be able to. But, yeah, just maybe some wear and tear. I mean, they're kids.
So, I mean, was this on repair, or was this part of the original? It was the third last item in the claims for Young's painting.
This is the installing of the vinyl wall covering on the graphic on the silo.
This was for, so they.
They
I
did
don't
the
know,
one
they only
side
did
in the
one
children.
side
They
on
didn't do the
children's-
side in the other
on the
room.
adult, yeah, so that's for the adult side.
Yep.
They just only had it on half of it, and it was like, why do we only have it on half? So that's what that was.
It didn't look right. Any other questions? If none, I need a motion on the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Delaney,
I'll second it.
second by Oliphant. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 7, Downtown Master Plan presentation by MSA. You're up.
All right, well, first and foremost, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight to do kind of a report overview of the Cascade Downtown Master Plan. I'll start by doing kind of a quick summary of what the document looks like, what some of the key highlights are, and then move into kind of summarizing key information about the report. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So this is kind of a quick snapshot of what the document looks like, the cover as well as the acknowledgements. We had a really great steering committee that provided a lot of feedback throughout the process and ensured that what we were putting together aligns with the community's goals and vision. And then I'll go into the table of contents on the next page to give kind of an idea of what the different chapters are. So it's broken into 7 different sections. Each one kind of has its own color scheme, so you know exactly where you're at within the report document as you're reading through it. And then I'll go through each one individually, starting with the introduction. And this one starts with kind of an overview of, you can go to the next slide, some basic information about the city of Cascade, some information about the plan document and the planning process itself, and then a little bit of information about Iowa Smart Planning, which we try to incorporate in all of the different plan documents that we put together. Our schedule was roughly 6 months, and we are right on track, which is great. Also within this first chapter, we have information about community input, specifically our community input workshop that we held in January. We had multiple boards that people could react to, could add a sticky note with information on what you might want to see in the downtown. And then for each chapter, we have a page similar to this one that has kind of key highlights or key outcomes from that chapter. So in this case, it was why plan for downtown. I don't necessarily need to read through each and every one of these, but things like replacing aging infrastructure and leveraging funding sources. These are kind of the key highlights of each chapter as you go through the report document. In terms of issues and opportunities, this is where we really dove into the SWOT analysis, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We did this not only with the community at the community input workshop, but we did it specifically with the steering committee as well. We broke it into 3 different categories, looking at beautification, development, mobility, and then all the different strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for each. We really honed in on the strengths and opportunities so we could determine how to build upon those and really improve the downtown. So you can see the summary page moving into the downtown character. We also have some information about the downtown character as it is today. We also did a existing plan review. So we looked at the assessment from 2023 and summarized that information as well, making sure we're building upon it as well. We looked at downtown as it currently is today, so welcoming, unique, and then thinking about what it could be as a place to connect and gather, walk and play, as well as live and work. And then we've got the principles for success for this chapter, looking at a mix of land uses, housing diversity, kind of anything and everything listed here. In terms of the existing conditions, we have several different maps in this section. The first one is looking at the entire city of Cascade, as well as where the study area itself is within the city. So you can see it's centrally located, it's adjacent to the river, and then we have some aerials that we zoom in on specific parts of the community. So the first one was looking at kind of the public works area of the downtown. It was kind of identified as an opportunity area to improve the parking, potentially include something like a trailhead, make it more of an activity hub. And then the next one is the river. Something that came up a number of times is just highlighting the river, emphasizing the river. It's unique to Cascade. How can we build upon it and draw in more people, as well as the streetscape. The streetscape came up multiple times in different settings, although it was one of the things that had kind of mixed opinions on it. Some people were for bump outs, some people were for shade trees, others weren't. So that was something that we identified later in the implementation matrix as something to further study. After our first draft report review with the steering committee, we identified a couple key stakeholders and went through key stakeholder interviews with the questions that were listed there, and then summarized their responses to get that information integrated into the plan as well. And then the recommendations, really just improving the streetscape, a lot of the things that have been mentioned before with housing options and so on. We also did an economic analysis using Esri Business Analyst, and we looked at it in kind of two different ways. First, looking at the city of Cascade as a whole, as well as zooming in and honing in on the downtown study area as we defined it. We looked at the employment overview for the city as a whole, and then on the next slide, we also looked at it for the study area and compared and contrasted to see kind of what changes occur between the city as in comparison to the downtown. We also looked at family restaurant market potential, annual household spending, really dove deep into the downtown to figure out what type of businesses could the downtown support in the future. And then we did determine that it could support things like family restaurants, and so we came up with a couple branding and marketing strategies, whether that's having an online presence, whether that is adding more wayfinding. You guys already have a lot of really great public events, so building upon those and really getting the word out about Cascade and the opportunities it has. The reinvestment concept is strictly based on what we heard from the community and the steering committee. We had at our first workshop the board on the left that has all of the different images. Those were based on the opportunities and strengths of the steering committee, and then we brought those and did kind of this dot voting activity where people could put red dots on things they don't like, green dots on things they like, and get a better understanding of the community's preferences. Based on that, we kind of took a look at those green dots and figured out what people want to see and where, and came up with this kind of general reinvestment concept. There's a lot of information in one page, so the next several pages of the document hone in on each different recommendation. So starting with that public works area, making the parking lot more formalized, potentially adding a trailhead, and then we've got an example image for each of those things. Another thing that came up was crossings, making those safer and more visible, honing in a little bit more on the streetscape, giving an example of what that could look like in the future. But we've got that for each and every one of the recommendations that we have within the report document. So these were kind of the key themes. I read through the first three, but also river enhancements and what we call opportunity sites, as well as additional branding and marketing and so on. And then implementation, last but not least, we come up with information on roles and responsibilities, and then an implementation matrix. This includes the action that we're looking for, a description of it, potential funding partners and priorities, and so on. So we've got those broken into different categories, and in addition to coming up with these kind of desired outcomes, we also wanted to show that how these outcomes could be measured in the future. So measuring success and tracking what changes have been accomplished and are we achieving our goals throughout the process. And that kind of covers the general aspect of the report document. It is a much longer document than what you saw there, but I wanted to give kind of a high-level overview of what we did, why we did it, and the input we got.
Any questions?
What was the turnout for a lot of the, do you have pretty good turnout?
It was pretty good. It was very cold that week. I know there were a lot of sicknesses going around the school, and so there wasn't a lot of youth, but there was quite a few older, kind of like adults and older people that were able to attend.
Gotcha.
I was looking at the implementation matrix page. I think, I like the action items. I think there's some really good ones in there. Downtown parking is a huge issue. And
Yes.
the public works area parking improvements is a great idea.
Yeah, that came up a number of times, and I think that would just add so much parking, but also clean up the area and make it look more aesthetically pleasing for the community too.
For sure.
You worked with several groups. I mean, was there one of them that you would, you would perhaps put on top for kind of taking these suggestions and implementing them, or be kind of the?
We tried to balance as well as we could. At probably the second or third page, we have the steering committee, and we had a big, long list of groups that we were involved with. So we tried to prioritize what we heard from that group as well as the key stakeholders we had. I know we had the McAllisters. I think we had Brian Bach. Does that sound right? We had a couple of people who wished to remain anonymous, but in general, I thought we got a lot of really good feedback as well as at the open house.
I guess what I'm looking for is a group perhaps, or what's the next step? I mean, a lot of
Yep.
times we end up with suggestions, or we have surveys and et cetera.
Yep.
We have
Nope,
sound
the
on
whole-
print, but actual, what happens month 3, month 6, year 1?
Yes, and so the whole kind of meat of this is first getting the input, but the implementation matrix is really how you can start making those changes, bringing those ideas into fruition. I would first take a look at priorities. We have them high, medium, and low, and then we also have costs, giving kind of a range. So not only thinking about what's high priority, but maybe what are some things that you can knock out quickly to show that you're also making improvements, that you're kind of getting the low-hanging fruit, showing that change can happen and building momentum.
Bill, I think if you look at page 86 in the report, it has like a responsible party column, and also possible funding sources listed in here. I think that that's going to give you the answer you're looking for, too.
Hopefully.
I do think that we as a group, though, again, we should visit this in 6 months or some
Yep.
timetable.
Yeah, we
Sometimes
recommend returning to these documents often, and if you get things completed, check them off each year, kind of review, see what you haven't done yet, and how that can be accomplished as well.
Well, maybe we should just get that put on the thing for it to be brought back automatically
Yeah.
for review.
Well, it's something we probably want to look at anyway when we start to talk about the next budget too.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I work with a lot of park and rec boards. I do a lot of parks and recreation master plans, and some of those park boards will bring the document to every single meeting and keep tabs on what have we done, what haven't we done, and that really allows them to keep checking things off the box as they continue to meet and.
Yeah, because like even when we had our previous thing, like we got the dog park done, we were kind of knocking off some of the things that were on that list, and I think if that list doesn't stay in front of us, then when things come up, we tend to.
Forget about it.
Yeah, I think it's a good.
Yeah, especially because, I mean, I know a huge priority of the council is to get the street repairs done, but we have to keep this stuff in mind as well.
Yep.
Yep, and thinking about what the community wants to, it seemed like that trailhead was something that a lot of people were drawn to. It seemed like even the fence on the bridge, just replacing that in a more aesthetically pleasing way. I think that could be something that could be taken care of pretty quickly, pretty easily, pretty cost effectively to show we're investing in the downtown.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
And I think I've got the link to the document there as well, but I know I sent it to you as well.
Number 8, consideration to approve resolution number 49-25, approve the Cascade Downtown Master Plan.
I mean, I'll make a motion to approve it. I think it's excellent.
Motion by Oliphant,
I'll second it.
second by Gale. Roll call.
Oliphant?
Aye.
Weber? Hush?
Aye.
Gale?
Aye.
Delaney?
Aye.
Number 9, consideration to approve resolution number 47-25, resolution authorizing the city clerk to transfer funds for fiscal year 2025 for the debt levy and other internal transfers for the city of Cascade, Iowa. Any questions about this? If none, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Delaney,
I'll second it.
second by Oliphant. Roll call.
Weber,
Aye.
Hush,
Aye.
Gale,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Oliphant.
Aye.
Number 10, consideration to approve resolution number 48-25, resolution authorizing the purchase of a subsurface solutions GIS system.
So all the guys were on board with this?
Yes.
They really liked it?
It's way simpler, much easier to use. In the end, it will save us money. It's, so you have your receiver, you put your phone on, you hook it to Bluetooth, connect it, and literally you can find a spot, and if you press a button, it goes right to the maps, instead of all the other steps with what we currently are using.
And using the current mapping system that we're doing now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And
that
then,
also comes with training,
yes,
Oh, nice.
yeah, and,
even with new employees, they'll come out and train them too.
and the thing that we like is, like, we can shut off a layer, we can add a layer, and right now with the system we're using, every layer that we want to add, it costs us money. Where with this
Oh.
system, if we want to add a layer, say we want water valves, or we want whatever, we can add the layer ourselves, and there's no cost then.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seems
that
like a
makes way more
no-brainer.
sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's way user-friendly, and, we control the stuff. Whereas now, the system we use now, we have to call them, we have to tell them what we want, and, yeah, it's just, we'll save a lot of time, we'll be a lot easier to use.
Just curious, what's the term layer?
I'm
refer
sorry?
to? What's that refer to? I mean, it's used here.
Like when you're, when you got your maps up there, and let's just say your map's going through, so you might have the water lines, and you just might want to see just the water lines.
Yeah.
And then you can add another layer, which maybe the valves might be.
Like the mains
The
and-
mains, you can add them all on top so that you can see them all together, or you can strip away different parts and just see
Yeah.
different pieces of it, so each layer kind of goes out like that.
I went to a presentation on that. It's amazing.
Yeah, it
It
makes.
just, everything is on there.
And it's nice to have, like, when we're planning a project, we can have our engineers looking at it, so they know, like, where's the water main, where's the sewer main, where's storm inlets, where's, water valves. And like, even if we're talking to the public, like if we're talking with somebody about their water service or something, we can shut every other layer off, and then it's just, we're
That.
talking to them about their water service, and we can show them on a map exactly where it is.
And, yeah, it's also a line tracer too.
Those are utilities use,
They're actually looking at switching to this company too.
so there would be one map, or potentially one map?
Yes, and so if we both switch, we'll kind of work together. Like, we'll be able to see the electric and gas lines and stuff,
Okay.
but we can't touch their stuff.
Okay.
And like vice versa, they'll be able to see our water and sewer lines and mains and stuff, but they can't touch any of it.
Well, that makes
But I mean,
beautiful
it-
sense.
yeah.
Because I mean, when the guys are going in there, you need to know.
You need to know where
Everything we have
everything
underground,
is.
you need to know where everything is.
Yes.
So that makes 100% sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the interaction process on the training with a system where we control and they put in and they do the layers, because then the guys all get their hands in it and
Mm-hmm.
used to using it, whether it be adding layers or taking away layers, and then as they train out, then it's not a just call somebody and nobody really knows exactly how it works type.
Right, yeah, and
they
there's-
could get better.
There's online tutorials, and there's a lot of more training offered with this system.
So, my next question would be, what other cities, I mean, what kind of background does it?
So Bellevue is currently using it,
Okay.
and Dubuque Black Hills uses it, Iowa Rural Water uses it, and Des Moines. Those were just a few that
Okay.
we knew off the top of our heads
Okay.
that has it.
I'll make a motion. to approve
Motion
it.
by Oliphant,
Second?
second by Hush. Roll call.
Hush,
Aye.
Gale,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Oliphant,
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
EMS Week proclamation, We Care for Everyone. to designate the week of May 18th to 24th, 2025 as Emergency Medical Services Week, EMS Week. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas emergency medical services has grown to fill a gap by providing important out of hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical service providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now therefore, I, Steve Napper, Mayor of Cascade, Iowa, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th to 24th, 2025 as Emergency Medical Services Week. This week theme is EMS Week, We Care. For everyone, I encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities in honor of the EMS profession and the essential service it provides.
And I would just like to say thank you to Kim and all the other members for the wonderful job that you provide to our community.
Absolutely.
What you guys do on a daily basis is amazing.
Well, we appreciate what the
And-
city has
And the
done for us.
dedication is
Yeah.
It does
off
take a
the
few
charts.
Well, and if you know somebody out in the community that's on EMS or does EMS work and stuff, I mean, make sure you say thank you to them because we need, and if you're somebody, you know, looking for somewhere to serve your community, fantastic spot. If you have those credentials or think you want to be someone who wants to learn, I think that's a fantastic role. You couldn't pick a better spot in the community.
Yeah.
If anybody's, interested, we're taking on more, trying to grow our crew members. And so, if anybody from the communities.
People have no concept of what you people do until they see you respond to an event. That's an eye-opener.
It is.
Thank you.
But it just feels good to be able to give back to the community.
Thanks to everybody that you have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kim.
Reports, Fred?
Yes, the only thing I've got, just a reminder that we've got the Wing and Brew Fest this weekend, and right, the street down by Riverview Park's gonna be closed off, probably most of Saturday. So, just in case somebody wants to get down there, we've got other parks and stuff that can be used also, so. Other than that,
How's the weather look for the weekend? Anybody look?
it actually looks,
think it looks
I
really
kinda looked
good.
ahead, it looked like 75, and I think partly cloudy.
Nice.
So,
That'll be good.
be a good day, be a good day. So, no rain predicted, we'll keep it that way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deanna?
Just a quick reminder that the next meeting will be Tuesday, May 27th, due to that Memorial Day holiday. Soil Concepts has been contacted regarding the seating along 136, and I had an update on that today. They're actually going to come walk the project on this following Wednesday. We have started our Teams meeting with Tyler Technologies for our software switch, and we have 5 weekly meetings scheduled. We have some training and some stuff to do already, and Mike is involved because he's part of our IT group, so he'll be involved. The budget amendment has been completed and the hearing notice has been sent to the paper, and a reminder, we'll be having that hearing on Tuesday, May 27th. We had a quick walkthrough at the library to look at the lawn. We're gonna start watering the lawn, and the rocks were picked out, so we're gonna hope that there's a lot of, if you look really close, there's a lot of little grass.
Sandy, gravelly.
Well, yeah, and that has been removed, but there's a lot of little grass starting to grow, so, I think if we water it, hoping that that will make it grow, but otherwise, if it doesn't, then it's under warranty and they'll have to come back and reseed it. I'm looking at getting some quotes to have this parking lot side of City Hall looked at, because the columns are really starting to look really bad. So hopefully I'll have those at the next meeting. I'm hoping that we have the discussion on what to do or what our thoughts are regarding the old library on the June 9th meeting, because there's been a lot of inquiries.
Yes, there has been. Holy buckets.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know what we're doing
I know.
with it.
What are you doing with it, and what's happening? So, and then the Tyler Street project stuff was completed on
Yep.
Friday.
They did good.
The library lawn, I mean, that thing doesn't even look like topsoil.
It's marginal.
It looks like
Yeah,
sand
it-
at best.
On the south side especially, that,
Well, I don't know. It
Yeah.
looks like-
I don't know how you're gonna grow
I don't know.
reasonable grass on that.
Was there something in the contract?
Yeah, it's under warranty, and they kept saying, well, we actually did more than what we were supposed to do at the last November, because they put the rye in as like just to hold
To cover.
the ground, and they actually ended up hydroseeding it, and if you look really close, there's like brown spots, and that's actually the hydro seed. And we were told Friday that if you water it, it should grow, so we're gonna see.
Yeah, last fall, the guy that was doing hydro seeding said that they were coming back in the spring to completely redo it.
Oh, well.
That was just temporary to get you through winter,
Yeah,
and so
well,
it didn't
Yeah, that's
wash.
not what Michael said, so we'll see. If it doesn't grow, then it's under warranty and they'll have to come back.
I mean, some of the places where they patched, I mean, it's dark soil.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this spring, some
Yeah.
place where the rest of it looks like sand, I mean, with the rock in it. I think
Not good.
there's topsoil there. so I'm
What's
not
the
sure.
time frame, Deanna, for when,
We have a 2-year warranty.
yes, sorry, the time frame for watering it before they would decide to do additional?
Well, we're gonna start watering it this week, twice a week, and then we'll see how the weather is, and then like June, July, we're gonna relook at it and see
Okay.
if it's not growing, then we're gonna just have to have them come back.
Sure, okay, thank you.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
If nothing else, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Oliphant,
Second.
second by Delaney. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?